Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday, July 7th. From the San Antonio Express News, my name is Luis Vasquez, and this is your Express Briefing. All of the stories you need to know to start your day. You can expect partly sunny skies and a high of 98. The San Antonio Food Bank made an urgent plea Monday for more volunteers to assist with its pop-up parking lot distributions. With its volunteer ranks the thinnest they've been since the novel coronavirus hit in mid-March, the food bank may need to scale back or even cancel its giveaways unless additional help can be found. Meanwhile, Governor Greg Abbott is warning of even greater fatalities from COVID-19 as the number of people in hospitals with lab-confirmed cases hits a record 8,698 on Monday. Over the last 7 days, Texas has averaged 36 coronavirus deaths per day. That's up from 30 a week ago. And now, we'll move on to the top headlines for the day. More than 24 San Antonio area companies, including the Thomas J. Henry Law Firm and Bill Miller Barbecue Enterprises, received loans of more than $5 million under the Small Business Administration's Paycheck Protection Program. Other local recipients of loans from the $5 million to $10 million included Our Lady of the Lake University, Joe Ayers General Contractors, Lewis Energy Group, and South Texas Oncology and Hematology. The SBA on Monday released the names of many of the companies that received PPP loans. The businesses that received a loan below $150,000 were not identified. Patrick Danner and Madison Eisler take a closer look at the data in their latest story at expressnews.com. Area firefighters and other first responders lined San Antonio streets and Interstate 37 on Monday as they paid respects to Atascosa County Emergency Management Coordinator David Prazivka, who died from COVID-19 in a San Antonio hospital over the weekend. According to statements posted on Atascosa County's social media sites, Prazivka, 58 years old, had recently been diagnosed with an underlying health condition that severely compromised his immune system. County officials said Prazivka passed away from the very disease he has been valiantly fighting against in the community. Scott Huddleston has more on the man and the community's support. In pre-COVID times, pilots learning to train other pilots might fly twice a day at Joint Base San Antonio Randolph. They might retire to the Heritage Room, where a jet plane joystick controlled the beer keg. But the room is closed, the keg is out of service, and the squadron's instructors now work weekends in staggered schedules, much of it from home. Sig Christensen talked to several flight instructors about how the pandemic has changed their work and how they're adapting both on and off the base. All is not well along the Devil's River. A plan by billionaire Chinese industrialist named Sun Guangjing to build a huge wind farm is causing seismic upset among longtime landowners. It's a total crisis. We depend on ecotourism, the turbines will affect the deer, they kill birds, and we're on the flyway for the monarch butterflies, said Alice Ball Strunk, a 63-year-old whose great-grandfather Claude Hudspeth began acquiring the ranch in 1905. The project, by Sun's GH American Energy, also threatens to disrupt critical pilot training missions at Laughlin Air Force Base in nearby Del Rio. John McCormick dug deep into the debate over the future of the beautiful, unmarred wilderness in the area. To keep our readers up to date on the path of COVID-19, the Express News has built a dashboard of interactive graphics showing the spread of the virus in the San Antonio area, in Texas as a whole, and across the U.S. You can find all of those charts at expressnews.com. Also, be sure to check the episode's description for links to all of the stories we talked about. Next up are your need-to-know headlines. You can find all of these headlines and more inside your Express News subscription. The number of diagnosed coronavirus cases continued to lurch upward at an alarming rate Monday, with 351 new infections and 2 more deaths reported in Bexar County. That brings the total number of local residents who have tested positive for the virus to 15,102. Pastor Ron Arbaugh of the Calvary Chapel said that he followed the letter of the law when he reopened his church in Universal City in May. But now, more than 50 staff and parishioners in his evangelical congregation have tested positive for COVID-19, an eruption the pastor blames on his loosening of a rule against hugging last month. Apple has temporarily closed all 17 of its Texas stores, including 2 stores in San Antonio at the shops of La Cantera and North Star Mall, as COVID-19 cases in the state continue to surge. On Monday, the Army said that hundreds of combat medics in training were in restriction of movement status at Joint Base San Antonio Fort Sam Houston after being exposed to the coronavirus. The Haitian family who was at a hotel near the San Antonio airport for over a week was moved to the Carnes Family Residential Center. They left the hotel the same day that protesters called for their release, and the family spoke with an attorney for the first time. Rodolfo Anaya was hailed as the greatest Mexican-American writer of his day. But as time passed, eroding the literary biases that constricted artists of color, it became apparent that the category Mexican-American was too confining, the Express News editorial board writes. The mailing center next to the Alamo Heights Central Market is packing up and moving after 50 years. Customers who live and work nearby say they have mixed feelings. Melissa Fletcher Sochley has that story. The Kirk County Sheriff's Office will not enforce Governor Greg Abbott's order to issue citations to residents that aren't wearing face masks, citing a lack of local manpower to enforce the state order. More than 40 Texas counties are exempt from Governor Greg Abbott's face covering order, including Bandera and Medina counties. See the full list of those counties at expressnews.com. The Whitty Museum is temporarily suspending its popular Free Tuesdays program, during which patrons were admitted for free from 3 to 6 p.m. The story of Reba, a too curious by half Rhode Island red hen who hitched a ride with an oblivious Instacart driver and traveled as far as Del Rio before finally finding her way home, thanks to 2 animal-loving sisters, a Facebook post, and more than 200 people praying for her return. Head over to expressnews.com to find out how Reba the Costco hen went from Instacart stowaway to Facebook celebrity. Next up is the fun stuff. When the Jerk Shack opened back in 2018, the Jamaican restaurant generated strong local and national praise. Now the chef behind that Westside phenom is set to light up San Antonio's appetite for Caribbean food once again. Mike Sutter has the story of the new Pearl Food Hall Caribbean restaurant, Mi Roti, from San Antonio's Jerk Shack, opening on Thursday. Spurs players plan to hold themselves accountable for best health practices when the team reaches Orlando later this week. What used to be the former Valentino the Bistro is about to take on a new identity as La Nostra Familia Trattoria near the intersection of Bitters and Blanco Roads when it opens this week. San Antonio junior welterweight Kendo Castaneda accepted the challenge of taking on Jose Cepeda on Tuesday in Las Vegas. He took the fight on just 7 days' notice. John Whistler explains why that wasn't a big deal. That's all for today. This was your Express Briefing for Tuesday, July 7th. My name is Luis Vasquez. Please consider becoming an Express News subscriber to get in-depth coverage on all the stories you heard today. Also, be sure to rate and review this podcast in your Apple Podcast app, as it really helps the show. Have a wonderful day, everyone.